I got involved with Shine for Kids because it was an organisation that represents a really unique combination of, I guess, two of the biggest interest areas in my career and personally as well. One of them is the criminal justice system and the other one is vulnerable kids. So previously for me that's been dealing with kids who have been affected by Black Saturday bushfires in Victoria, children who have been sexually abused, children with other mental health issues, and now with Shine for Kids it's children who have, I guess, in some way experienced disadvantaged as a result of some involvement with the justice system. My background's a little bit unique, I guess, to some of the other board members. I grew up in Alice Springs in the Northern Territory, and my early working days were working in courts, in criminal courts in Alice Springs, and later in Darwin as well. And that was because I was studying law and I was really passionate about the law at that stage. I still am. But for me it was really looking at the impacts that crime has on people. So not just the victim of a crime, but the indirect victims. And I guess what Shine for Kids does is it picks up the invisible victims of crime. So where kids are, I guess, are victims of the fact that their parent or their family member has made a bad choice somewhere along the line, and they're suffering for that. And working in the courts in the Northern Territory, it's pretty brutal. The court system itself, even for lawyers and people studying law, is a pretty brutal, pretty intimidating environment. And what we used to see would be family members, including children, who would turn up and for hearings or throughout a trial. And dealing with police officers and prison officers and judges, it's all a very intimidating environment. When you also work so I worked in the prison system as well. So the prison system also is, rightly so, a pretty intimidating environment. You put a child into that environment, it's a pretty scary place. It is for adults, let alone children. And sometimes it's actually about helping kids debunk a myth, really, about where has my dad gone, or where's my mum gone, what is prison, or what happens to them. So where Shine for Kids really provides value is bringing kids into a pretty scary place, but trying to create a safe, child-friendly place within that environment, so that they can start to see their parent or their family member in some way, in however way, that you can make it a bit more normal for them. There's a lot of good work that Corporate Australia does for Shine for Kids now. There's a hell of a lot more work that we could really appreciate some extra help from Corporate Australia. The reason for that is really because there's unique tension that's going on at the moment, certainly for a lot of non-profit organisations, but we have, I guess, decreasing funding from governments for a range of budget pressures going on in different states and the federal level. But there's an increasing prison population. So for Shine for Kids, it's a unique tension. You've got a growing prison population, which then means you've got a growing number of kids being impacted by incarceration. Some of the recent statistics are something along the lines of 50,000 kids every year in Australia that would be in some way impacted by incarceration of a parent or a significant family member. If you draw that extension out to Indigenous kids, they're overrepresented to the rate of about 20%, which is huge. So Corporate Australia is in a unique position where they can make a difference, as corny as that sounds. It's about making a difference, and it's about putting some really hard-earned cash that that they work hard for, sure, but that we can do a great number of things with and help hundreds of kids and hundreds of families with that. I'm really excited about this organisation. I'm really privileged to be on a board with a number of really inspiring and intelligent individuals on that board. They bring a whole range of diverse backgrounds and experiences to the board as well, which gives Shine for Kids, I think, a really unique position going forward, where we have an ability, I guess, to push the envelope a little bit. Shine for Kids has been going for 30 years in New South Wales. It's been in Victoria for the last 5 or so years. We've got programs starting now in the ACT. There's opportunities to now start thinking about how do we get every kid in every state able to access these services. It's the name of the organisation. It's giving kids a belief that they can shine. Every kid has a right to. So it's really about how we do that.